What's up, good people? I hope you're having a blessed day. This is High Ground Podcast. I'm joined by Zach, my good friend, and I am Landon, and we're going to waste no more of your time. Zach, please tell us, what are we talking about?
So today we're going to talk about Hurry Up Tomorrow, which is a brand new movie starring The Weeknd, Jenna Ortega, and Barry Keoghan.
Hurry Up Tomorrow, we saw it so it comes out, when we're recording this, it comes out today, Friday,
The 16th.
the 16th.
Yeah.
The official release date is today. We saw it a couple days early at a fan event. And I'm going to go ahead and get into my reviews, or do you want to do yours first?
Go for it.
All right. So my overall review, so I always rate mine out of 10. We both rate our movies out of 10. So my official review is a 3.7 out of 10, which isn't good, but if you look at the wide scale of the movie, it was a pretty long movie. In my opinion, it was just a marketing scheme for The Weeknd. He's not a bad artist. He has good music. I always hear his songs during WrestleMania season. They always use a song for WrestleMania, so I always hear his music. It's not too bad music. I'm not like a fan of I don't listen to them like solely, but they are a pretty good band. But as far as the movie goes, I wasn't the biggest fan of the movie. I feel like there was no plot. I feel like it was just a big music video. I feel like overall, as the movie progressed, I was like, what is happening? Yeah, go ahead and give us what your thoughts are on the movie.
So I'm kind of on the same mindset. So same thing. It's like we both have the same kind of structure when we review things. It's always out of 10. And we're looking for overall plot, like the actual storyline of a movie and cinematography of a movie. That being said, this movie had a lot of really cool cinematography shots. It had really good like camera work, but at the end of the day, I give it like a 4.2 out of 10 simply because the plot. Like the first half of the movie, it felt like, okay, this is like a fictional story. It's about I didn't even think it was actually The Weeknd. Like I thought it was just a character, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
like it was The Weeknd playing a random character, but it was literally The Weeknd, which we find out about halfway through the movie, and then it really gets like kind of confusing. But no, but to that sense, so what was cool about we, like Landon said, we saw it was a fan event. So what that means is where we go to the movies, it's a early showing before opening weekend plus like opening night. So like we went like on a Wednesday night. And at first, so what's funny is it plays like his main song from the new album, and we thought it was the movie.
Yeah, it played like an actual music video, and I was like, all right, this is like a really long intro. And then it was like, Hurry Up Tomorrow, the album. I was like, oh, okay, so it was just like a music video.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad music video, but I'm like, yeah. So if I would recommend this movie, I wouldn't unless you're like a fan of The Weeknd. Like if you listen to their music solely, if you're like that's your favorite like artist, like go enjoy your favorite artist. But like if you're like going to the movies this weekend and you want to just find a movie to enjoy, I wouldn't recommend it because it was really confusing. It was really long. It was really if you have epilepsy, you're cooked.
Yeah, no, it literally, that's something too we should point out. It actually did have like a photosensitivity warning. Strictly like if you have epilepsy, if you're prone to seizures, and they're not wrong, because even me, like I thought I was like tweaking out for a second because the way the cameras, like you're literally like rotating the crowd, like you feel like you're like having a panic attack just about.
Yeah, I mean going forward, if you are gonna watch the movie, we're just gonna go ahead and like spoil the whole thing. So
yes,
if you want to, if you're like I'm gonna go watch the movie either way, like you don't. I encourage everyone to have their own opinion. So I'm like, you don't have to listen to us, but if just our recommendation is our opinion of the movie as a whole. Yeah. But yeah, getting into, I guess the spoilers of the movie. Yeah. The scene with the club when the lights are just flashing.
Yeah.
I'm like, we get it. We're blinded by the lights. Like,
I was just about to say that.
I'm like, we get it. It's a good song or whatever, but come on. Like,
right. Yeah. Well, and so yeah, since we're kind of getting into spoiler territory, I'm going to do. So that's something I want to point out too. So this is what I have here is more curated for like the Weeknd fans. So I did a little bit of digging why the movie was made, what some like deeper reasons for the way it was portrayed. So for I think the biggest takeaway is there's a lot of symbolism in this movie, or a lot of like deeper layers, especially if you're a Weeknd fan. So Jenna Ortega plays a character called Anima, just a random name, but that represents like the Weeknd's real self, or like more specifically Abel, which is his name in real life. And then Lee, who's played by Barry Keoghan, is like this fake persona, which is the Weeknd, which is like going out on stage. That's why, like, even if you notice, like, there's times he'll literally say, like, he'll open the door to like the crowd and he goes, "You hear that? That's for you." And it's like, it's kind of like amping him up, like, "Yeah, this is for you." And like, and then obviously Abel and the Weeknd are just themselves. But yeah, the whole movie is supposed to be like an inner reflection in his head, which is why there's some weird shots.
Yeah, I know it's like kind of like an insomnia type.
Yeah, it's insomnia kind of. It's like, yeah, that, and it's an obsession. So it's like there's like anxiety, addiction, and like the battling for truth. Even towards the end, Jenna Ortega's character like ties him down and basically holds him hostage.
Yeah.
And her whole thing is like, just tell the truth and I'll let you go.
Yeah, so it's just like a giant metaphor, I guess.
Yeah. Which
that scene was like weird though. Like,
it is weird.
I'm like, forced therapy. Like, what? Like,
no, wait. Like, so that was the funniest / like weirdest part of the whole movie is when the Weeknd is like hostage. Jenna Ortega proceeds to play his own music and like just dance to it. And it was the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah, that was really weird.
That was just like actual torture.
See, like my deal with the movie is like, at the beginning, I thought, so if that is like supposed to be like, portray him, like Jenna Ortega's character, like I thought what was going to happen is going to go through like one of his concerts, and in the concerts he's going to be telling a story, and that's what we were going to see through Jenna Ortega's character. But no, the Weeknd was a character in his own movie. So I was like, okay, now I'm confused. And then this is the whole intro, like the whole like first half of the movie, I didn't know what was happening.
It's very like, I feel like it's one of those movies where if you go into it already knowing like some background info, like just in the sense of like more the Weeknd's real story type stuff, which I'll get in that in a second, but also like it's almost like because the way I look at this movie, it's very much like an indie movie. So like,
yeah,
it's its own thing. Like, no one's really kind of done it before, quote unquote. I'm sure people have, but you know what I'm saying. But that being said, it's like a psych thriller. Like, it's very much, because like at some points I'm like, I feel like this is a horror movie. Like the one scene when he's like coming out of the elevator and it's like pitch black. That scene.
Yeah, that whole thing. Yeah, because like the whole jump scare and stuff. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah,
yeah, because that's what it is like portrayed as the psychological thriller or thriller.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like until like the point where like they were in like the hotel room and like he was like, why are you here? To Jenna Ortega's character, like that's the point where I was like, okay, we're going somewhere. We're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
Because I saw this review I'll go through all like the ratings on like through the other media outlets, but through like I saw a review on Letterboxd. It was like me when I was 13, whenever I went to a concert, what I thought would happen if the artist saw me. I'm like, that's how it was, like the movie was kind of portrayed. It was like she just went to the concert and she was like, and then that too, like, well, not to get into like straight, I guess, continuity, but like she didn't have money for gas and then she went to a concert. Like,
I didn't even think about that. That is such a good point. Yeah. So for context, she literally, that was such a weird scene too, because I was really confused at that point.
Yeah.
So she's at a gas station. This dude's filling up his car with gas. And she has like a gas tank, like a huge gas tank. And she waits for him to go inside of the convenience store. She like runs over with it. And for context, it's bigger than she is. So she's literally like stumbling, trying to get there, steals it, puts it in her thing and just filling up. And then she's like watching him in there. Then a cop pulls up. And my first thought was like, isn't that a little suspicious?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, and I'm like, okay, Gasoline, I get it, like that's one of the songs, WrestleMania 40. For my WWE fans, WrestleMania 40 theme. But yeah, I was like, okay, now what? And then I don't know. In my opinion, Barry Keoghan like stole the show. I thought his acting was brilliant.
It was really cool.
I know he's the antagonist of the movie, and he played that really good. He's really good at playing antagonists. Like,
He really is.
He really is. So
I mean, he is the Joker.
Yeah, he's the
Another
Joker.
world. So
yeah, he's an Eternal. So he killed it in the movie, and
he's a phenomenal actor.
then Jenna Ortega always does good. I don't know if The Weeknd's been in anything else.
He's been in a couple stuff because that's something I looked at too. Because
He's in Black Panther.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he was a performer in Black Panther.
I didn't know that. That's interesting. Wow. But yeah, he has been in a couple of different stuff because that's something too. A lot of people keep bringing up because apparently there's a lot of backlash he's received. People are like, oh, he can't act. Like he's not cut out for acting. And that's another reason, like, he was really wanting to do this movie specifically, not just to promote the album and be like, hey, here's my new album, but also, like, try to show he has some range, which...
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like, until that scene in the hotel room, I was like, I just don't see it. But then that hotel scene, he did pretty good. I ain't gonna lie. He
can convey emotion.
He killed that. I was like, okay. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I see that. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to get to like the ratings that like other media outlets kind of gave.
Go for it. Yeah.
So after the movie, I was like just freaking confused. I was like, what, am I tripping, or was that just kind of weird and not like as good as I thought it was? And then I started looking at the reviews and like, okay, Rotten Tomatoes, which they're not always accurate, but like their critics aren't always accurate, but Rotten Tomatoes hit it with a 17%. Which is really low.
That's right.
So I'm like, okay, I'm not tripping too much. And then the fan score on Rotten Tomatoes is 77%, which makes sense. Weeknd has a big fan base. If I was a Weeknd fan, I would go watch the movie, right? Yeah. IMDb hit it with a good 5.7 out of 10. That's a good score. And then I think Letterboxd is like the most like, I like Letterboxd because it's just us. It's just us. Normal people.
Just random people.
Rating a movie. So
it's just Reddit for movie fans, basically.
Yeah. So Letterboxd, the average was 2.5 stars.
Which, by the way, theirs is out of 5 stars. Yeah. For clarification.
Yeah. So, I mean, all the ratings are on the downside.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes sense. And I told Zach this before. I thought it was a unique concept for marketing your music through a film, but I think I wonder if it would have been done better if it was like how artists just put their concert film in theaters and just go watch the concert.
Yeah.
Because I would have went and gone. I mean, I like going to watch concerts in theaters, especially in like IMAX. I mean, they get portrayed really well, and these concert films are phenomenal nowadays. So I think that's a way they could have gone with marketing this album, but either way, that's how I feel about the whole movie as like a whole. It was just a marketing for his album.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. That and like, yeah, and this is more theory than like legit, but at least from my perspective, but a lot of like true Weeknd fans, like I'm talking like the hardcore, like Swiftie level Weeknd fans are all like saying that this whole movie was him basically like throwing away the Weeknd persona as a whole and like going for like this will be the last album he's the Weeknd and he's just going to be himself like Abel from now on, which is if that's true, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But I don't know. Like I want to go that far. Maybe I think it's just a really smart ploy to like get people to listen to his new album. Which
I feel like it's that, and then also for the Weeknd fans for like lore wise.
Yeah, for them because there's like he kind of talks about his mom. He kind of talks about speaking of that, this is a good segue. So I told you this after we left the movie. I was like, I wonder if any of like he has an inhaler and he uses that and it's insinuated he has asthma. Mm-hmm. And also there's this whole kind of mini plot, which again, doesn't do a whole lot to the story, but it is important. It's more of an Easter egg in my opinion.
Yeah.
With the voice. So when he's singing at his concert, so I guess they said like the muscles surrounding, his voice box is like strained. And it's caused by like stress, which in the whole movie is shown like he's undergoing stress this whole time. Like that's why it's like a psych thing. But he basically is performing in he's even been telling his manager, which is Barry Keoghan's character, like, hey, I should just like not go out there. You know, I don't want to go out there. And he basically convinces him to just do it. Like, it's fine. I've got your back. These people are here for you. Like, I'll protect you. So he goes and does it. And like, not even halfway through the song, his voice just kind of like strains. And then he's not able to sing. He is able to sing later, but in that moment, it's just from everything else. That actually happened in real life. I didn't know that. So I was reading into it. I think it was in LA, one of those concerts, but he was performing and his voice just went out, like, probably because, you know, you're on tour, stress, all the things, which just is a common thing in singers.
It is.
Like Miley Cyrus, that happened to her. She had a whole like vocal cord surgery or something crazy.
Yeah.
But with The Weeknd, and what's like interesting about that is the whole arena just kind of like booed him. So like that, I think that's why he put that in there, is because that was something that very much was like a stressor for him, but also just like that really did impact him on a career level. Cause it's like, imagine you're surrounded by like thousands and thousands of your fans and something you're not really able to fix or control goes wrong. And then they just boo you. And like, which that was funny because when we watched that in the movie, I was expecting them to boo him. Yeah. And they didn't really, they just looked confused, but like no one actually like booed him. But yeah, that was a whole other thing. But I found that very interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot. I imagine. Yeah, there's a lot of lore and symbolism and Easter eggs in this movie.
Yeah,
I thought it was funny when he was like in the locker room. He was like, "I won," to like the girl on the other side. Oh yeah. He's like, "I won. I did it. I won." I'm like, "Bro, I don't think you did." Like, yeah, it's not looking like you did, bro.
He literally had a whole crash out scene.
I'm like, what are you?
And that's something too. We forgot to talk about that. Again, the biggest problem with this movie we've agreed upon 1,000 times here is the plot. There is no plot.
Yeah,
and that's a big issue, especially if you're a movie fan. But he has this whole thing where like an ex-girlfriend won't text him back, won't call him back, and it's like that's kind of, I guess, what's stressing him out. At least it seemed that way, but really it isn't, because that's all. It was just there, just like. Jenna Ortega's character, Anima, her mom calls her halfway through the movie when her and The Weeknd are in the hotel the next day. And it's like, she's like freaking out, like talking to Jenna and like, no, like you need to come home. We need to talk about that, whatever. And we don't really know what it's about. It's assumed it's because she like burned that house down in the beginning, which is a whole nother thing. And they just never address it again. So we have no idea what that's about.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the biggest problem with this movie as a whole, is the plot. And I think that's really important with like movies in general. I get this movie was like, I feel like this movie was just directed towards like Weeknd fans more than, maybe it was supposed to be like a big marketing thing, but I feel like it was just directed towards Weeknd fans because like I didn't know the lore, you didn't know the lore. No. And I feel like that's a little bit of a problem because like when you're I'm not an expert at making movies or anything, but like, I feel like one of the big like important things about making a movie is the cinema aspect of it, and like the cinema creativity aspect of it, and like the story aspect of it, because most people go to like the theaters to watch a story and be entertained.
Right.
There's a very little minority that go to a theater and that like look at like every shot, every score, every song, every little detail of the movie. Most people just go and like want to see a funny moment or want to see a emotional moment. And with this movie, I feel like you didn't really get there to like I said, to that one point in the hotel room. So it kind of took a while to do that. And I think that's the biggest struggle bus with this movie. And that's really the main reason about my 3.7 rating is the story just took forever. And it's like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, all right, where are we going? Like, these are cool shots. He has good music going on. Like, it's great, but I don't know the plot.
Yeah.
And that is the biggest problem.
It's its biggest downfall.
Yeah.
You know? And that's real quick. That's one more thing I want to add that I totally forgot to bring up, which is arguably the most important thing in the movie is Lee dies. Lee.
Yeah, bro.
Barry Keoghan's character shows up to the hotel, figures out what's going on, and him and Jenna's character are kind of like fighting. It's just back and forth. And she just like gets a piece of glass, stabs him, he dies right then and there. And I'm like, that's when I was really like, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
So that I wanted to add that real quick because that was something just random.
I know, bro. I was like, why'd you kill bro's like friend? Like he was still his friend.
Yeah.
Cool. I think we're gonna close the episode. I'm gonna add one more thing. Trey Edward Schultz, the director. I thought he did good. He did what he could. He's a good director. He did Winning Time, the Lakers dynasty, the Showtime about the Showtime.
Oh, I didn't know he did that.
That has an 8.3 out of 10 on IMDb. So bro's still a good director. Weeknd is a good artist. We're never gonna criticize people because we know how hard it is to make a movie, right? But that is not going to stop us about talking about the movie. Okay, this is about this one film, but these are professional artists. They have multiple great successes in the industry, from music to good shows to good films. So don't be like, oh, this movie sucks, I'm never watching anything by Trey Edward Schultz. Like, no, don't do that.
Yeah, no, don't.
Like, just like, because we don't like the sequels doesn't mean I'm not gonna go watch a J.J. Abrams film. You know what I mean?
Literally, that's such a good example.
But yeah, do you have any more thoughts you wanna?
No, I'd say that's a good like little note though. Yeah, is this and anything we rate or review? Like again, like we're just average fans. We really like this kind of stuff, but no hate. I mean, no hate on any actors or anything. It's just wasn't my cup of tea, but it might be yours. So don't
exactly like
lean one way or the other.
Like, I don't recommend it, but if you're a Weeknd fan,
go for it.
Watch it.
You might like it.
Cool. We're going to close out the episode. In every episode, we do say that we are believers. We believe in the death, resurrection, and ascension of Jesus. We believe in Jesus in the whole gospel. And we believe in sharing a verse and an encouragement to someone who doesn't know Jesus, to someone who does know Jesus, just to help you get through your day, to encourage you to read your Bible, all that. And Zach is going to share with us a verse.
Awesome. So today I'm going to be reading a verse from the book of Matthew. We're going to do Matthew 6:34, and it goes like this. It says, "Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own." So hopefully that's something that goes a little bit, you take that to heart. Living today, tomorrow is never promised. So live today for Jesus.